Hello, Saturnians. So, today I share with you how I connect with the realm of the elementals and how I get the fairies and gnomes to help me in my craft as a witch and sorcerer. So, I have this space in my garden which I consider to be my little sacred space. When I need to make moon water, sun water, when I need to charge my crystals, I just put a little table in here. I also feel that my animals feel really happy around this place, so I take it as a good sign. So I made this little fairy house, and the idea is that I have a place to leave small offerings to the fairies and gnomes. Of course, that here I am treating the fairies and gnomes as one kind of elementals. They are the ones who help me in my practice. I made candle holders with champagne cork holders so that I can hang the candles on my tree, and then every day I light the candles and I leave a little offering for the fairies. And it's usually moon water or sun water. So today I made a whole bottle of sun water. So I'm just gonna leave a little bit for them because I am going to use this water for my magic later. And I want to send the message that they can use this water to help me. I also have this mini tarot deck. It is the fairy tarot, and I always assign one tarot deck to communicate with the fairies. I use these cards as clarification cards when I am doing tarot readings. So every time that I need clarification, I pull one of these cards. So every now and then, I leave these cards here overnight so that the fairies and gnomes know that this is the deck they are going to use to communicate with me. So I just put the cards in this little pouch to protect them from the wind and bugs, and I leave them here overnight. I'll come and collect them tomorrow. And in my humble experience, unlike my other decks, the messages that I get from this deck really do come from a different realm. They do not come from my subconscious mind. So, whenever I use these cards as clarification cards for my tarot readings, I have the feeling that the fairies kind of manipulate the message that I need to get, if that makes any sense. And if you want to do this, all you have to do is assign one tarot deck specifically for this purpose. Okay, so here I have some rue. Today I am making a ritual bath water for a neighbor who's not feeling well. So I'm just going to use rue and a little bit of boldo. This is my boldo plant. I don't know how you guys call this plant. Here in Brazil we call boldo, so maybe it's the same, I'm not sure. And I am going to use boldo leaves and also rue and some salt as well. And here is the thing. In order to have the help from the fairies, I am going to use the water that I made yesterday, sun water. And I took a little bit of that sun water and I left in the fairies well as an offering. So now I'm going to use the rest of the water to make this bath water for my neighbor. And I also have the help of an assistant today. There is this kid in my neighborhood who's a very dedicated apprentice, and she's going to help me make water for our neighbor. So here I have the sun water, and because I left a little bit of this water for the fairies, when they interact with that water by correspondence, they will be interacting with this water as well, because as above, so below. So the idea is that I create a correspondence between the astral plane and the physical plane. So when the fairies interact with the water element in the astral plane by correspondence, they will be infusing the water in the physical plane with their energy. I personally see fairies and gnomes as the etheric body of the plants. So the leaves, the flowers, the roots are the parts of the plants that we can touch with our physical hands and see with our physical eyes. But they also have etheric body. And for me, the fairies and gnomes represent the etheric body of the plants. We should not confuse this with the Fey realm, which is larger, and in the Fey realm there are beings that are not necessarily the etheric body of the plants. So here I am referring to one subcategory in the Fey realm. Okay, it's important to say also that different plants have different etheric forms, and this is the reason why people who take ayahuasca, for instance, commonly refer to the astral form of the plants used in ayahuasca as a giant serpent. It's common knowledge that ayahuasca presents itself as a kind of snake. So also here, when I am under the effect of ayahuasca and I look around my garden, I see all kinds of different forms and colors. It's also important to point out that here in Brazil, ayahuasca is not considered a drug and is 100% legal. So this is why I can say that here on my channel. So now I'm going to add a little bit of salt with the help of my lovely assistant and a little bit more. Okay, so when I say that we are going to get the help of the fairies, what I am really saying is that we are going to use the etheric body of these plants as healing tools, not only the physical aspects of the plants. Okay, so the etheric form of the plants are really sensitive to emotions and intent. So we try to approach this water with, the right intent. We cannot, this is true for everything. We cannot really approach magic with anger, sadness, or anxiety. We have to be calm and in the right state of mind when we touch our magical tools. Otherwise, the water picks up on, the way we're feeling, and it goes in the water. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Leave it for 24 hours, and tomorrow morning I'll come back to get my water. Alright, so it's a new day. The water was here overnight. I put a little bulldog flower inside my bottle so that I know what's inside. But I am going to filter the leaves using this thing. I don't know how you call it in English. It's called peneira in Portuguese. And I'll try not to make a mess. And here is the water for ritual bath with the help of the fairies. I'll give like this to my neighbor. She has to use it for a bath today because this water doesn't last very long. And I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. Bye bye.